Welcome to Vermonters in Business, where we highlight some of the very best business leaders in our state and the amazing things they're doing in their communities. People of Vermont, welcome to Vermonters in Business, where our mission is to highlight the businesses and business leaders in our state that are doing incredible things in both the work in their communities and in their careers. We've got an outstanding show today. I am your co-host, Drew Kinney. I am an insurance agency owner, a technology investor, and a real estate investor. But first, please join me in welcoming our co-host, Travis Spencer. He is a serial entrepreneur, a local business enthusiast, and of course, around here we know him as a world-class insurance agent. King of the hot take, Travis Spencer. How are we doing today, man?
Not too bad, Drew. Looking forward to another great one.
Good.
I have a hot take now.
You got a hot take for us?
You know, for all my college football fans, you know, if you have the ball and you're running out the clock, just take a knee and end the game.
Sorry, Miami.
Yeah, not easy to do. My Miami Hurricanes just, gave away a game.
I should have never opened this door up, but I think I like it.
We'll talk about Virginia Tech next time.
Yeah. So we don't want to go down that route. So we've got an outstanding show today. Joining us today is Tom Gallagher. He is the CEO of People's Trust Company. Tom, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Happy to be here, guys. Excited about it.
Yeah, it is an honor to have the bank with a heart in the office today with us.
Right. You did that good too.
Yeah. So Tom was elected CEO in 2011, and that's right around the time we probably first met. We were training for Spartans and taking boot camp classes over at Duke's Fitness with Nate Yando and crew, and
back in the day,
giving ourselves brutal punishment for an hour every day to then go suffer on the side of a mountain for half a day.
It's funny what we used to do back in the day.
It's a great time. So since then, Tom has traded in his Spartan shoes for his family and dad's shoes, which I think is kind of how it all goes. As soon as you start having kids, it's hard to find time to go run up a mountain.
That's right. Well, we still like to do exercise, still like to be active, because I think that's part of being a good parent too, is being there, being present, being able to do stuff. But yes, I'm not doing any. I don't know about you, but I haven't done a Spartan race in probably since that time.
Yeah, probably too.
A couple was enough for me.
Yep, same. I remember we did the Beast in 2013, and after being stuck in the rain on the side of Killington for God knows how many hours,
pneumonia or something.
Yeah, it's like,
don't you want to do one of those?
One is enough for me.
Yeah.
Still have the medal in the office somewhere, but awesome. So Tom, one of the first things we do is we start out with what we call the Vermont Hot Seat questions. Awesome. And this just gives people a little taste of who you are as a Vermonter. So Tom, are you ready for the Vermonter Hot Seat?
I'm ready. Let's roll.
All right. Pancakes or waffles? What are you having with your maple syrup?
Oh, pancakes for sure.
All right.
Pancakes.
It's making a comeback.
It is.
A lot of people are waffles.
Wow, you need if you're going to make it yourself, all you need is a pan, right? You need a special waffle maker for, I don't know.
It's true.
That's the second time today the waffle maker has been a barrier of entry.
It's true. It's very true.
Pancakes all the way. No question.
All right. A perfect day for you. Is it a winter day at the mountain or a summer day at the lake?
I'm going to go winter at the mountain.
All right.
Us fair-haired, redhead guys. Those summer days. Not that we had many that we had this year, but I don't want to put on SPF 50 if I don't have to. So
I get it. I can relate to that.
So definitely winter.
All right, and it's your birthday dinner. You can go anywhere in the state. Where are you going?
Ooh, dinner. Okay. Well, I got to be a bit careful not to alienate any of my customers.
True. Yep.
So I'm gonna say I'm hitting Main Street, St. Albans, and that new restaurant scene that's there across from Taylor Park, and you got Mimo's. Mimo always does a great job if you're looking for Italian. Twigs and their kind of outside vibe that they have during the summer. And then I love Jeff's Main Seafood too, so I don't think you can go wrong with
you can hit them all
St. Albans.
Right down the way.
Downtown St. Some has done a great job.
They have
some
definitely.
Restaurants.
The food scene has definitely been great down there for sure. All right, and then what is your creamy order and from where?
Ooh, creamy order. I'm gonna have to go maple, and I haven't had a creamy in a while. I'm gonna go throw some love to Toby Duclon and Dukes, where I probably got my first creamy back in the day. Go work out at Nate's and then go ruin your workout with a creamy. Right?
It was funny how that connection was right there every time. Yep. You'd be leaving there after class and the lines would just be like to the street. Awesome. Well, that's what we have for the Vermont Hot Seat. Pretty easy. Yep. So from here we'll transition to Travis, who's gonna hit the hard hitting stuff.
Thanks, Drew. Tom, thanks for joining us today. First, we always just like to start with, tell us who People's Trust is and what you guys do.
So People's Trust Company is a local community bank, and I tell my staff this a lot, we really impact the lives of our customers, whether you're buying a home for the first time, whether you're starting a business. We have, I think, the best people, and what we have, I think, is an advantage over some companies. We're local, and because of that, we are ultra responsive. So Drew can call us up. It might not be something that fits into the cookie cutter of what a lot of banks do, but we can apply our knowledge of Drew, of the area, again, of what he's doing, and try to customize something for him specifically. So it's really it's a great community organization that has been around for almost 140 years, and again, really impacts the lives of Vermonters.
Yeah, and what you said is very true. I mean, we've even taken advantage of that.
Hey,
most local banks, they can't. An insurance agency is a little bit different from their usual commercial lending, and so we were able to take advantage of that as part of our acquisition of Crowley Insurance, and it worked out well.
Very happy to have you.
Yeah.
And we are also customers of McKinney's too. So. Right back at you.
Yeah.
I was having this conversation with someone last night out to dinner. We're talking about just the number of banks in Vermont.
Yes.
And for a small state, where like, does this ever get saturated? It seems like there's so many banks in Vermont, especially Chittenden County. Yeah. How do you stay competitive with all of these outside banks that are coming in, or even some of the larger local banks?
Yeah, so actually, if you can believe it or not, there's a lot less, at least community banks, than there was even 10, 15 years ago. But you're right, it seems like banks of all sizes, from a global level, national, regional, community, credit unions, there's a lot of different choices. So, but you hit it right on the head. For us, it's trying to make sure we're relevant to our customers. And our experience is a little bit different. I alluded to it with, kind of the personal approach and crafting solutions for our customers as opposed to just something out of a cookie cutter. But we try to balance, the digital experience, or what you might expect at a large institution, as far as, I get my mobile phone on me. You can do all of the same transactions, or have all of the same, I don't want to say glitz and glamour, but certainly, all the digital aspects of banking that you would imagine that, if it's midnight and you want to make a transfer, you want to take out a mortgage, you have that ability. But we also have, and I think this is really important still, is the personal experience. So you can come into our institution, you can talk to me, you can talk to one of our loan officers in person. We're based on relationships, and certainly that is the most important aspect to us. We want to know who you are, we want to have a familiarity, and we want to differentiate ourselves because we're more personable, high touch, and ultra responsive. So, but you're right, it is difficult to differentiate yourself in this marketplace right now.
And we see that in the insurance piece, where a lot of people now want the touch, but they also want the technology. And so it's like, do you have an app? Do you have a portal, a customer portal? And so you do, you hit the nail on the head. If you want to compete with those larger entities who aren't going to give you the personal touch, you got to.
And I think local is really important. I think that really translated into something different after the pandemic, and probably during the pandemic. We were so responsive to calling our customers ahead of time, getting them paycheck protection loans, having a personal touch, going out there, seeing them, making sure they're all right. Same thing with the flooding that we've had here the past, over the summer too. And just because we're small, we're nimble, we can be that kind of boutique bank that has all the products you would imagine, but just has an unprecedented personal experience. And we care about our customers, and I don't have anything against banks of all different sizes, because I think economically we need, I'm not going to finance an airport or something. So we need banks of every single size to make our economy go. But our niche is really on that personal level, and people really make the difference. We have some of the greatest employees. I know, Drew, a lot of them, work with them. And our people really make the difference with developing and maintaining relationships. So that's really been our calling card. It was our calling card 130-something years ago when we started in 1886. And it really is still to this day, maybe enhanced a bit by the digital experience.
Nice. One of the things we've been talking about with a lot of our guests is just, Vermont is kind of its own thing. And there's a lot of national chatter in the finance world and real estate, things like that. So over the last couple of years, we had a Silicon Valley Bank situation.
Yep.
We've had some other banks that, going under, runs on banks, if you will. And the national news is obviously different than the reality here in Vermont. So what do you tell the people who are worried about banks and worried should they have their money in your bank? And what are you doing to counteract some of that news?
Yeah, so it's not it's not abnormal. Usually Vermont seems to lag behind the rest of the country, somewhere between 6 to 9 to 12 months.
Sure.
And I'm sure you see that in the insurance world too. We see that from an economic standpoint, but also from a banking standpoint. But the banks that failed back in March, I think it was Silicon Valley Bank, Signature Bank shortly thereafter. There's been a few others that have been on the brink too. Those banks and those circumstances were very specific and different than what you see certainly from the Vermont banks.
Yeah.
So overall, the state of Vermont, their member banks are very highly capitalized. They have excellent sources of liquidity and are probably at one of their strongest points in certainly the last 30 or 40 years, just from balance sheet makeup. But those were very specific cases. Interestingly enough, though, the vast majority of banks have failed because not of the issues that you saw at Silicon Valley or Signature, but because normally it's loans or asset quality issues. So bank makes bad loans. Yeah. They go bad. They drain capital, and the bank fails because. But this was really, I think, a balance sheet management issue where. The bank was very much concentrated, Silicon Valley in particular, with some high net worth customers in startup businesses. They had a lot of their eggs in one basket. They went long on investing in bonds at a time when rates just started to peak up, they assumed, I think, wrongfully that rates were going to stay, at least not ramp up as fast as they did. So they became underwater on their bonds. Really, it was a liquidity issue. And I think, we reference social media and, mobile. This was one of their worst enemies, which all banks and businesses should pay attention to. When news got out that there was an issue there, I think within an hour or so, it seems like
line was around the door.
Line was around the door. They had no way to kind of curtail that, and social media really helped to be the issue that ended up helping to put them out of business.
So that kind of leads into my next question. How do you manage growth and mitigate those risks that other banks might have?
Yeah, I think one, you want to make sure just sound, I'm going to use an insurance term here, sound risk management practices.
We love
it.
Yes.
Right? And I think you can apply that to any business. Yep. It's not just specific to banking though, but you want to make sure everyone takes risks. There's risk in any business, right? That's what you must do, right?
Yeah.
There's always risk in any business. But you got to have controls to mitigate that risk. You don't want to grow too fast without having, raising enough capital or a backstop. You don't want to have all of your eggs in one basket. You want to be diversified. So if there is an issue in one area or one sector, you have, another to fall back on. So again, just make sure you understand your risk, you mitigate your risk. You're still going to take a little bit of risk because if you don't, there's no return, right?
Yeah.
But and again, I think make sure you got good people to go out there and be the face of your organization to help you take that risk. That have like-minded thoughts in how you grow.
Don't know if there's anything you can disclose here to us, but do you have growth plans, over the next 5 to 10 years for the bank as far as expansion, territory, new branches, things like that? Yeah.
So I don't think I'll be. Disclosing anything I shouldn't. We want to grow reasonably and responsibly. Yeah. Our market area is northwestern Vermont, and that's somewhat loose in its interpretation, but we're really talking about Franklin, Grand Isle, Moyle, and Chittenden County. And I think if you look at just demographically, economically, what parts of our state are growing. And I think this needs to change, but really it's northwestern Vermont and then kind of the rest of the state. Yep. So we're very well positioned where we are from a branch standpoint, from a kind of digital footprint to be able to expand without a lot of additional overhead and investment. And like I said, we're going to invest in our people because I think that's really where places should be investing, making sure we retain the best people. and that they can be our relationship managers as we continue to grow. But so for us, again, our legacy kind of market area has been Franklin County, and we're really starting to make some inroads into Chittenden County, cherry picking some nice relationships as we go.
Nice.
Yeah.
And one of the things Vermonters are always concerned with, especially deciding who to do business with, is community service. What are you doing in the community?
Yeah.
So what are you guys?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. That's and Drew's laughing here, but that's that's been one of our pillars through our history, is giving back to the community. And I've said this in numerous forms before, but especially in Franklin County, again, our legacy kind of county, you'd be hard pressed to find a community event, a charitable organization that People's Trust Company doesn't directly sponsor, support, send people to help out. So we are extremely vested in our community. If you go up there and ask any of the organizations, who's kind of the backbone as far as a sponsorship or supportive organization, you're probably going to hear us roll off their tongue as one of the
very quickly
one of the first ones. But we have it ingrained in our culture too. We actually have policies in place at the bank where we have the expectation, because it's in our name, the bank with a heart. We want to be out there in our community, that our staff, one, feels empowered to go out and during the work week be able to support and donate their time. And I do it myself too. I'm involved in a number of organizations, and just from the top down, including our board members, we have the expectation of service and really service above self. I'm stealing something from the Rotary Club of St. Albans here, but and we got some, again, board members who just spend a ton of time supporting their community too. So it's part of who we are.
Yeah.
I think it's part of, you have to, as a community organization, do that. We embrace it, we enjoy it, and we find a lot of reward in doing so as well.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, you see, I think it's kind of just ingrained in the folks you have at the bank.
Absolutely.
We see it, on the personal loan side of the house with Angela Poyer and her team. Everyone is very active. On the commercial with Danielle Manahan and everybody, and Jay, obviously, Jay Cummings, and you got, at the top there, everyone is very active in the community and finding ways to support St. Albans and its growth.
Yeah, I'm going to give Jay a little plug here too, just because, Drew mentioned him, and he does a free series, many of them open to the public, to educate them on everything from, bringing insurance professionals in to financial, and then stuff that's completely outside of the banking realm, like self-defense. And we kind of chuckle about that. How's that related to banking?
Yeah,
it's important to our community,
right?
Exactly. And I think that's what we're trying to get at. Is it's difficult to say, hey, let's talk about banking 101, and every month do that, and have someone different come in.
Right.
But if we change it up and we focus on what's the needs of the community and take care of our community well, that's going to draw people in, and that's what we want to do.
Yeah.
Back to the business insurance side, you talked about, obviously not going to finance an airport, but what type of businesses, what range and size of businesses do you like to work with?
Yeah, so we all banks have a legal lending limit. That doesn't necessarily disqualify you from doing a larger loan. You might have to find a participating bank or participant. But, our kind of wheelhouse, again, not to put us out of what we, I don't want to scare any customers away. But, we will generally focus on most of what you would see in small business in Franklin County and Chittenden County. Again, all banks are capped. I'm not going to tell you ours because I don't want to tell everybody else.
Yeah.
But we'll do everything from mom and pop stores, startups. We still have an agricultural lending division. We do maple loans. We do auto dealerships. So, right across the board, we're small enough to know your name, but large enough to be able to service most any request.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and I think what he's trying to say is that if you're larger, they'll go down swinging, so give them a shot.
Or we'd love to be able to, if we can't do it for some reason or need to bring in some participants, we'd be happy to do that. We want to be that hub of business for organizations and direct them to where they'll be successful.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions, Drew?
Yeah, Tom, what's kind of your crystal ball for 2024? What do you see coming down the line for People's Trust?
So again, we're going to have, hopefully a really good year. We're positioned well. Rising rates allow us to pay our depositors some money. And again, historically over the past 20 years, that certainly hasn't been the case. Again, looking to give back to our community more, to grow, to be the bank with a heart for another generation, hopefully, and that's really one of our focus areas now, is being relevant amongst, this upcoming generation who might never come into a bank, might never, that might not even cross their mind.
Right.
Whereas I think probably all of us have been into an institution, whether our parents took us in to start our first checking account. It's really focusing on how do we get to that generation that might never come through our doors.
The passbook savings account, it gets a little...
The green passbooks that you updated every month, they're not doing that. They want to do it all on their phone. So, it's kind of living in two different worlds.
Yeah.
Right?
How have you seen that change from your time as CEO, so 2011 to today? Where have you seen that push?
Oh, it's been really significant.
Yeah.
Right. And certainly the pandemic caused.
Right.
And this is not for worse. I think it's for better.
Right.
The pandemic, I think, caused a lot of people to say, okay, now's the time to really push through some of this, because it was almost like a pause in business where, we were shut down aside from just essential. All our employees are essential, but frontline people, and it just allowed us to really refocus on, what's the best delivery channels to get to our customers. Obviously, people weren't coming in the bank during that time, so it allowed us to promote. Again, digital more than we ever have before. So I really see that as being one of our main focal areas going forward. And just, again, reconnecting with our customers, growing some relationships, making sure that we're maintaining those relationships to a high level.
Anything that we missed that you want to touch on? Or?
I don't think so. I don't believe so. I think we hit most of it pretty good.
I think we did good. We covered a lot of ground.
We did cover a lot of ground.
Yeah.
Nice.
We even got the Miami Hurricanes in on this one.
We can talk about the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah. Give some love to those Buffalo Bills. You're not going to find too many Bills fans. I'm sure they would.
That's all right.
No, just again, another shout out to my staff. And I know you guys here do it too, but it's not possible. We have without our staff, we have a great group. All of our board members are engaged. They're local. And our business model, and a community bank's business model, is actually fairly simple. We take in deposits from our community members, and we loan them back out in our community members. So it's a really fulfilling, mission for community banks and for us.
Awesome. Nice. We can tell you're definitely passionate about it.
Yeah.
Appreciate you coming on the show. And
great to be here.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, this has been another episode of Vermonters in Business. If you know a business leader or business owner that should be on our show, please send them our way. We'd love to host them and see their thoughts on the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Hurricanes or whoever it might be. Anything else?
No, this is great. Thank you again, Tom.
Thank you, guys.